Hey everyone, it's Joe. Welcome back to the channel. For today's journaling video, we are working on my December daily insert from 2019. As some of you may know, I actually participated in December daily haphazardly in 2019. I only got a few videos out because I was really busy with all things happening with school and leaving for Barcelona. So I basically completed only a few spreads and I stopped journaling before December 24th or 23rd, actually, before I left for Barcelona. So this past weekend, on Saturday, actually, I dedicated the whole day to working on this insert and doing the bulk of the journaling for the Barcelona part of my December daily journal. This was a little bit of an interesting journal setup because it was my December daily insert and my Barcelona travel journal insert as well. So it was quite a thick insert by the time that I finished this. But as you can see, I kind of am in the middle of the spread already because I was actually journaling for most of the day on Saturday and decided to actually film the later half of it. I actually completed I think it was a total of 6 spreads, and I ended up finishing my whole December daily. Usually when I participate in December daily, I finish journaling on December 25th, and I never really document the days that have happened after Christmas and New Year. So this was a nice refreshing change to that, and I actually have all of December documented, which is amazing. So I have an insert that starts from December 1st and ends on the 31st, and I will show you a little bit later what this completed notebook insert looks like. I'll flip through it, but as you can see, I'm kind of moving through different inserts, and when I do travel journals, I don't really add a lot of drawings or illustrations or watercolor elements as much as I would love to. The way that I journal about my travels is very collage based, and I like to use a lot of the elements that I have hoarded from my travels, and I think this is a great way to repurpose all those amazing pamphlets and ticket stubs and train passes that you have, because I know a lot of people store those ephemera pieces in a box and they kind of just collect dust, and this is a nice way of engaging with that material and using it in a different way. I know that a lot of people don't actually look through those pamphlets after years of having them in storage, and I think it's much better to use them in a creative manner and enjoy what it can add to a journal spread rather than it just laying in a box somewhere in your storage. So that's what I'm doing, and as you can see, I spent quite a bit of time tipping in this really large postcard from Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. It's a beautiful postcard. It's a vertical postcard. It's quite long, and I love this postcard because it has this QR code on the back that you can scan, and you can actually see a video of the inside of the Sagrada Familia, and I think that's such an amazing touch to these postcards. I actually sent a whole bunch of these to my friends, and I hope that they scan the QR code. It's such a gimmicky thing, but I think it's great. One thing that I should note is that I have been kind of cheating with this travel journal. Sometimes I procrastinate on things like this, like a large journaling activity such as finishing a travel journal, just because of the sheer amount of writing there is. I'm one of those people that when I start writing about an event, I go in with a lot of detail, and it'll take me an hour to journal about one day, just because I love explaining the details and how I felt that day and that time, and I like sharing those little itty bitty moments that happen during your travel that are oddly specific, but those are the things that make me love looking back on travel journals. And one of the ways that I've remedied this over the years is actually typing out my journaling. I know it goes against everything that I do on Job's journal, just because I love things that are handwritten and journaling with pen and other media that is physical. But sometimes efficiency is key, and I typed out a lot of the accounts for my day-to-day things because I knew that if I didn't do this, this would take me forever. And I am a big procrastinator, and when I know something will take a really long time, I will push it off and continue to push it off for years. And that's why I still have travel journals that are incomplete, because the sheer task of trying to document a trip takes a lot out of you, and it takes a really long time. So to make my life easier and for me to stay engaged in this project, I actually decided to type a whole bunch of my journaling out, and then I just printed it out. And for this type of journaling, I actually use a lot more tip-ins than I usually do in my journal spreads. I don't think I'm the best at making tip-ins just because I don't know how to incorporate them in a meaningful way. I know some people make creative tip-ins, and even in bullet journal spreads, people make these amazing, I don't know what they call those spreads, but it has like a little bit of a cutout, like a tip-in. They would cut a page shorter so you can interact with the spread in a different way. I don't think I'm really good at doing that, but this is a way to cover up all of the typed elements, just because I still don't really like how it looks. I like how handwritten journaling looks, and the typed piece just adds a little bit of I don't know, it takes away from the general vibe of the journal. So I try to cover it up with some tip-ins, and I am able to add more elements and ephemera from my travels by using tip-ins, just because I didn't have enough spreads in this journal to begin with. Also, I really want to apologize for blurring part of the spread that I'm working on right now. I actually had to cover it up just because there was some personal stuff on there. But I wish I got to show you a little bit more of that spread, because it's actually a pocket that I created for half of the journal spread. And I highly recommend anyone to add that to their travel journals, just because it is a creative way to add ephemera that you don't end up using in your journal spreads. I had a large amount of ephemera from one day just because I went to a few things and I ended up hoarding a whole bunch of stuff. And that's a great way to actually hoard the excess stuff that you don't want to lose. And it makes it like a fun and interactive element in your travel journal. If you're like me and like to add more tip-ins into your travel journal, having a pocket is another like fun experiential part of your journal, just because when you look back in it, you can look through that pocket and see what's in there. And usually it's a nice place to add photos too, like Polaroids and whatnot. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to sort through my photos from Barcelona. There's just so much, and that's the one thing that I have been procrastinating to do every single day. It's been on my bullet journal to do this literally every single day, and I end up procrastinating and not doing it. But that's something that I want to do maybe in the future, and add more things to this travel journal. Like in my Toronto travel journal, I actually added photos at the end of my insert just because I had a few pages left. But unfortunately, in this travel journal, I don't have enough space. Just because this is travel journal and my December daily insert, there's just a lot of things going on, and I don't think I foreshadowed using more pages than I originally thought I was going to use, if that made sense. But yeah, add a pocket to your travel journals. That was such a long ramble. But yeah, I'm going to flip through my completed insert now. So it starts from December 1st, and I pretty much show you every single spread in this journal. But I think there was one spread that I didn't get to show just because I accidentally skipped it. But it was the spread for December 21st and 22nd. And it was pretty straightforward. I think it was one of the most plain spreads actually. But yeah, you get to see this interesting shift from December daily to a full-on travel journal. And I know my December daily this year isn't as Christmassy than it usually is, but that's all right. I think it still has that same vibe. I tried to use as much red and green as possible, but I think by using pink and yellow, it kind of added a different feel to this insert. It doesn't look very traditionally Christmas, but that's all right. It adds a nice like changed to like a typical December daily looking insert. But I tried to use a lot of tip-ins and different elements to make it as interactive as possible, just because I don't usually journal like this on the daily, and I do want to kind of incorporate more of this type of stuff in my regular journal inserts, just because it's so fun flipping through old journals that have tip-ins. It just is a fun experience, and it kind of ties back with that thing that I talked about earlier about the pocket in travel journals, just how experiential it is and how fun it is to flip through old journals with all these fun tip-ins and whatnot. Right now I'm just covering one spread just because I have my full boarding pass there with my name and the barcode and whatnot, so I just covered that up. But the hotel that I stayed at, it's called Petit Palace Boqueria. It's on La Rambla, and they came up with this really cute like pamphlet that came with our key, and it has like this cute like Christmas nose scale, so it goes from like light pink to red, and it just shows like how Christmassy you are based on how red your nose is. I know it's like doesn't really make sense, but it's a fun whimsical element. And I incorporated this note that one of the, I actually don't know who put it, but it was on my bed when I got to the room, which was nice, and it had Merry Christmas on it, and there was some cookies and chocolates, which was great. I added the full pamphlet to Park Güell, and I kept it just because the story of how we got into Park Güell is hilarious. I'll save it for another video just because, or actually no, I can talk about it real quick. Basically, if you go to Park Güell in Barcelona, it's actually a free park if you enter before 8 o'clock. And yeah, I ended up being a cheapo, and I ended up going at 7 o'clock to beat the toll fee. And I made it, but you don't get a pamphlet, so I basically was looking around for spare pamphlets around the like the, not the restaurant, yeah, like the little convenience store thing, and I found one. That's why I wanted to incorporate it, and it's a nice memory to have. We also went to this really cool espadrille store called La Manuel Alpagatera. I always forget how to say it. It's a really old and cool espadrille shop, and I didn't think I was going to get something, but they had these really cool high-top espadrilles, which I've never heard of and I've never seen, but I ended up getting a pair of those. I don't know when I'm going to wear them, actually, just because they're so different, and I don't know if it really fits my style, but I really wanted to get something from there. And then I have like a million spreads dedicated to the Sagrada Familia, just because how cool it was, and just the whole story behind it. I could honestly talk about this trip forever, just because there's so many fun little random stories, and yeah. But I really like how this spread turned out, and I love that little tip in that exposes this I think series of tags and whatnot. And this is the bits and bobs folder that I was talking about. I managed to hide the personal stuff that I had in there, so I was able to finally show you what it looks like. But yeah, this travel journal took, I would say it took me the whole day on Saturday to work on it, but I was working on a pretty slow pace, and I was watching You on Netflix, which is amazing. I'm only on season 1. It is so scary though, and it makes me want to like shut down this YouTube channel just because I'm so paranoid now, but I won't be doing that at all. But just the concept of that TV show is so creepy. But yeah, that's how long it took me to finish this up. And since it's such a thick boy, this insert, sorry, I don't know why I'm talking like that. This insert is so thick. I have this, it looks like twine, but it's actually wire that's coated with like this raffia paper, and it's a nice little way to secure things. And it kind of looks like string, so it looks like cute twine, but it's actually wire, and it holds this in place a little bit more securely. But I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I hope to be uploading more soon. I have one question, and my question for you is, how do you accomplish your travel journaling, and do you do it while you're at the location or when you get home? Just because I'm generally curious. Okay, I will see you all next time, everyone. Have a great week and enjoy whatever is coming your way. That sounds so odd. Enjoy your week, everyone. Bye.